I think we talked about them a little bit.
Oh, that's right. You're doing biz dev.
Yep.
For those guys.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm juggling too many balls. Entrepreneurs say you got to focus, be good at one thing, and I have those two things going on, and I have a property I'm trying to rent out right now.
Oh yeah.
Picked up another one. So
is it a house or?
Yeah, single family home. So I'm pumped about it. I'm gonna be set up for some recurring revenue that's about double what it was at the beginning of this year going into next year. So excited, but real busy right now.
Yeah, I could imagine, man.
So
well, appreciate you coming down and making time for this. Cause
yeah.
It'll be a good time. And are we good to go? All right. Well, appreciate you coming on the show, man. We're here. We're on Mile High Mentors podcast.
Yep.
Thanks for Matt handshaking.
Yes, sir. Nice.
Holmes,
yep.
right? Holmes. Okay. So, where do we start? First off, where do we even begin this animal? Do we start? I know. Let's take it back. Where are you from originally?
So was born in Texas, y'all.
Yeah,
and then
You're the second guy in here.
Really?
Yeah, Nikki was born in Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. A lot of Texans
Where
moving
in Texas?
to San Antonio.
Okay, yeah, I'm really sorry to hear.
Yeah. But I dropped the y'all accent and then went to middle school and high school in New Mexico and then came here after that. Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
And what brought you out here?
I came up here for DU back in 2006. Cool. It wasn't as cool as it is now. Everyone's moving here now.
Yeah? What makes it so cool now?
Yeah, let's see. The tech startup scene's exciting. For people in this space like me, I think that part's really exciting. I know a lot of people are moving here for the cannabis scene. There's dispensaries popping up in every block. People are not moving here for the traffic because that's getting much worse every month. Bad. It feels like.
Yeah.
The mountains. Yeah. So many mountains in our backyard. I think that's what makes it cool, and it's still about half the price to live here as compared to East Coast or California. Yeah,
we were just talking about the price hike too with Nikki, how bad it's gotten in the last couple. Apartments that were $1,100 a month are now $1,600 a month. And
oh yeah.
It's gnarly.
Yeah.
It's
well, I've been a landlord for about 7 years now. Bought my first house here in Denver in 2010. And I used to rent the rooms, I remember, for $450, $500 a room.
Yeah.
And now the same rooms people are paying $850 to $950.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's really, the rental market has, I would guess about doubled with my roommate strategy.
So what were you doing right out of college?
So after undergrad, I took a sales job, did that, but hated it. I couldn't get the numbers. I can understand the business from a big picture perspective. I was just sell more product.
Yeah. Sales doing what?
Cars.
Oh, selling cars?
Oh yeah, I'm sleazy, man. I'll get you, dude. You think about buying this used car? Let's talk. No. That is, people have their guard up for that, and I got some great experience on what can kind of warm people up, and that's been a valuable skill. It was a newer company, so they invested a lot in training with us.
Yeah.
But I quit that and went back to school to study business because I was ironically also flipping cars on the side and helping other people buy cars. And I wanted to make my own money. Wanted to be my own boss. I went back to get my MBA from DU.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the story went.
2 times around at DU.
Yeah. It cost a little bit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nelnet for not not making me pay all of it up front. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you went back, you're doing sales in the beginning, and that was entrepreneurship, right there.
Yeah.
Or what? You've had some other kind of day jobs in between and what you're doing now,
not
right?
really. I've been pretty self-employed for since 2012, 2011. I went back to get my MBA and realized that instead of buying cars low and selling cars high, that I could actually probably pull a salary if I could do real estate. So that's when I had already bought my first house for back in 2010. Went to the MBA shortly after.
I had to make sure. All right.
I know we just kind of went into it.
Yeah.
I love it. But bought my first house in 2010 and, saw that you can buy low and sell high with real estate, too, and the margins are much higher. You're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to rent it out in the meantime.
Yeah.
And it's an appreciating asset instead of a depreciating asset. Like, real estate sounded much better than the automotive industry. I remember there was a point I was holding on to 8 cars, and it's just the amount of things that can go wrong, and if you don't sell them, they're only worth less next year.
Right.
Where with a house, if you mess up and wait a year, it's probably going to be worth more.
Right.
So that was kind of where I went from, the buy low, sell high mindset from automotive, which it's kind of hard to do that on your own. You need a license. There's a lot more regulation in that space for, just a dude starting out as an entrepreneur. And with real estate, you can get your real estate license if you want to buy and sell and help others, but you can buy and sell your own properties without any license or really anything.
And that's what you're doing.
So that's what I was doing from about 2011 to 2014.
Yeah.
And so got into that during the MBA, graduated the MBA in 2012, I had $100,000 of student loans, and talked to Kirk and said, I hate all these job offers I'm getting. I don't want any of them. Mm-hmm. She said, oh, well, you don't have to take a job. She's like, you can go be a full-time entrepreneur. You have your real estate stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know how my family would feel about that, but I'm to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, went full-time on the real estate and started trying to convince a family friend to pick up another property, pick that property up, a condo, and essentially the real estate strategy was purchase single-family homes with out-of-state investors and rent to people in their 20s moving to Denver. It's a great business model. Everyone's moving here. People want to explore the city together. People are fine. They get along together. A lot of people moving from smaller towns are used to paying less with rent. And, with the roommate situation, they can pay less, and I can make about 30 to 40% more market rate. So that was a great business. But come along 2014, I had gotten kind of sick of it and sold off most of my equity. It's hard to keep good relationships with tenants. It's hard to make sure contractors show up on time.
Right. And you're managing that all on your own mostly, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That was your full time, like you didn't have another
That was it.
That
was it.
Now, let's go back really quick.
Yeah.
Though. What got you into entrepreneurship in the first place?
I mean, just the amount of creativity that you can express almost, Or
let me rephrase that. Who got you into entrepreneurship? Who are some of the mentors early on back in the Texas days?
Oh, wow. I don't know. To be honest with you, I didn't have a lot of mentorship within the auto industry nor the real estate space. It was after I got out of real estate when I really started to take mentorship seriously and caring about my personal network, and things have significantly changed since then. But I mean, I'd say the only mentor I had was another buddy who was buying and selling motorcycles in college. That was the only mentor I had. I think he was 1 year older than me, but eventually I bought more bikes than him, and I didn't have really a coach with that.
Yeah. Were your parents entrepreneurs?
A little bit, but no, they're much more traditional. They think the 9-to-5 job's good, and then you should put the entrepreneur thing on the side, which I would agree with that strategy. The older you get, the more you need that stability in your life. Once people start to get married, have kids, even just getting a puppy, that type of stuff can really.
You got a puppy now?
I don't.
Smart man.
But I've just got these 3. I have 3 properties today, and those are my babies. Yeah. Although I don't really love my babies, so I guess I shouldn't call them.
More like an ugly stepchild.
Then. Yeah, they're the ugly stepchildren. They're the ugly slave stepchildren, like in the fields, bringing in the dough.
Yeah. You're the slave, or they're the slave.
I mean, I feel like a slave too. I think we're all slaves. That's the problem with the real estate industry.
It's tough, man. My mom's been in that space for 30 years now here in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, it's great passive income. Compared to a traditional 9-to-5. Most months out of the year, the cash comes in without any problems. And I make my money on the 1st of every single month. And then there's a few months where the hot water heater will go out, and I'll deal with like 5 companies that try to charge me anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500, and I'll find that gym that replaces it for $1,100. That happened recently in one of the properties. And costs like that raise the average cost of repairs per property to a little under $200 a month. So as long as you budget that, and if you're buying houses in the 50s, like all 3 of mine are, that's when they were built. That's about what you can expect. $200 a month is a good budget for general repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So again, going back, like we're still missing key stuff here.
I know.
What got you in entrepreneurship, man? Like, what drove you to go to college out here and like pursue business and psychology? Was there someone early on, or it was really your you've always been a self-driven person?
It's like cracked me.
Really?
Like the first time I made money selling a car, I made $300 when I was 21, and I was like, oh, I can make my own.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Now I'm coming up on 30.
Okay.
Just a few months away, man.
Oh, man.
The timer's clicking. So yeah, I mean, but it was really just the idea that you can make your own money and be your own boss and have your own schedule. And I mean, structure's good. For me, the challenge is, keeping structure in my life. Because I don't even have a co-founder. My business today is just me. And the agreements with investors is very non-binding. It's a set interest rate I pay them that I still have involved with the real estate.
Yeah.
But
this is the handshake.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess to pick up the story, in 2014
yeah.
is when I sold off most of my equity in the real estate space. Kept a few investors involved with the specific houses they were involved in.
And you still do some of that on the side now.
I mean, I manage 3 properties, but I'm not trying to acquire more properties.
Right.
I'm not trying to change the strategy. I'm just sustaining it.
Who taught you about real estate?
I'm 100% self-taught. I mean, my family has a little bit of experience, even a little bit of commercial experience, but they didn't have any investment properties when I started with this. And the roommate strategy in my first house when I was living with roommates, they said, "Matt, you need to get your own space." And at one point I had a condo and could have held on to that and sold a single family home, but decided to sell the condo. So now I live in one of my houses. It's a big 6-bedroom house. And I have 3 bedrooms in the basement, so maybe I'll have 2 or 3 other roommates down there.
Okay.
But I'll have the upstairs to myself.
Uh-huh.
Bathroom, 3 bedrooms to myself. It's off like Colorado and I-25.
Yeah.
Still pretty close to DU.
Yeah.
I believe in that area.
You're still sticking to that area.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, well, it's hard to, I could either, live for free in one of my houses or pay rent somewhere else.
That's true. That makes sense.
So,
yeah. Okay. What kind of content, what kind of content did you consume to get in the real estate gig in the beginning?
I think just kind of cranking out the numbers, looking at what the mortgage will be, how much down payment I need to raise.
Yeah.
If how to finance it. It's just real estate.
But how did you learn that stuff?
It's
books. Was it training courses?
I guess I probably watched a little bit of. Yeah, I've read a lot on Denver real estate. You're really concerned about trends with real estate, and I read a lot of trends saying Denver was going to continue to go up, and it did. I mean, the second house, when I finally got that second property, it appreciated about $80,000 in a 12-month period after we bought it. So that was a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
That even though I can't touch that $80,000,
yeah,
I paid myself $300 a month for the first 12 months.
Yeah,
I was living on fumes, and that's with $100,000 of student loans. Like that, it was hard to get started.
That's tough.
But eventually you can do cash out refinances. You can sell places. You can rent them out. You can charge people for their last month's rent if their credit's not good. You can do all kinds of things to kind of keep the cash flow. But it's definitely challenging starting out, especially if you were to do it without investors.
Yeah. What made you decide to transition from there to the company? To your company
So
now?
2014, I'd had it.
Yeah.
I've sued tenants in small claims court before when they break the agreement that we have, and
right.
Which is legally binding. And I had to do that a couple of times, and one time it even went to trial. I represented myself and won, so that was great confidence because moving forward, my lease has been in court. We have a disagreement. You're going to comply with what I need, or of course, if I'm in the wrong, I'm going to make it right for you or let you out of your lease.
Right.
And then contractors too. It's like a full-time human babysitter, trying to make sure they show up on time, trying to make sure they do the work that they said they were going to do. It's such an outdated industry. No one uses email, which is really the best way to really track or send a contract or send a bid.
Right.
You can have 5 people come and bid a $6,000 driveway, and maybe one of them will send you an email.
Yeah.
And that doesn't allow you to get the 3 quotes you're supposed to get, and then people say get 3, pick the middle one. I think that's generally a good rule of thumb.
Right.
But it's hard to do that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And if I'm paying you, I don't want to have to manage you too. Yeah, if you're a contractor. So I got sick of real estate for those 2 reasons.
You said agency business because it's kind of an agency model business, right?
Yeah. So after I got out of real estate, I didn't really know what was next. I had a little short stint of working in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill.
Oh, really?
Just for a short 6 months. Politics has always been an interest of mine, too, kind of like Nikki's.
Interesting. Yeah.
And now after spending some time working for a congressman in D.C., I realize it's a great hobby. It's important, but it's not my full-time career.
Yeah.
But I started, while I was working there, I saw, you see Paul Ryan, John Boehner, all these celebrity politicians walking out. I'd say, hey, can we take a picture? And I'd take I'd handshake them. And my friends started calling me Handshaking Holmes. And so, sure enough, when I got out of real estate, I had a paycheck. I didn't know what was next or how I was going to make money, but I didn't really think about that right then. I just wanted to learn more about technology. One of the biggest reasons I got out of real estate is it's not technically sophisticated.
Right.
Where, a lot of tech startups, you see them, using all kinds of cool tools on the cutting edge. They're making the tools. I wanted to get more into that space, so I started interviewing the founders of tech startups.
Yeah.
and just entrepreneurs in general.
Right.
You know, kind of like what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
On the Mile High Mentors podcast. Like, it's really cool. It kind of blows up your network. You know, you can just kind of, you know, when you ask people for coffee and you say, hey, do you want to catch a coffee with me? There's a point where you ask a caliber of people who are just too busy to meet you for coffee.
Right.
But when you say, can I interview you on my podcast, a lot more people say yes.
Yeah.
Because it's such a generous thing you're doing. You're asking someone, can I share your success and what you've done in your career with everyone I know?
Right.
And that's all they care about. They don't care if you have a huge following or not.
Right. And can I provide you the content that you can use yourself? Right?
Yeah, it's valuable for them too, you know, a video.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some of them have plenty of that, like Mark Cuban. I remember I emailed him 3 times, and on the third email I got a response. The answer was, no thank you. Dang it, Cuban. If you're ever watching this, which I highly doubt it, email me back. I want you on my video series.
Let's get him down here.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing, and you did a lot of over the phone, like you were even saying over the phone interviews, like you wanted to do this over the phone, and you see this is a very different dynamic. Getting someone in the studio, sitting them down here, we got the space and the mic, and like all that's very different dynamic. So that's why like we're sticking to Colorado, or people that are maybe coming into Colorado, and see where that goes.
Yeah,
we have some pretty interesting folks like yourself. That
Thanks. I'm nothing special.
Yeah, dude, you have a pretty interesting story. And so was the world record before you started this company, or was it after?
No, so it was shortly after I started it. So
was this a brand move?
It was a brand move. It was like a brand move bucket list thing.
It's genius.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man. Okay, so you got to tell people about that.
Yeah, so I started interviewing these people like Connor and I were talking about, and after I interviewed a ton of them, I said, you know what, I need to do something big. You know, I'm getting some big names on it. I need to take this to the next level. You know, at that point, I think I had billionaires and members of Congress on the show, like some really great names, some big-time entrepreneurs. Andre Duran from Ping Identity, like a 400-person company or so here in Colorado. And yeah, I mean, once I knew my company was called Handshake and I was going with that, now I realized, there's not all these world records that I need to break. There's just the few handshaking ones, and I'm going to look at all of them and see which ones I think I can break. And sure enough, one that I thought was vulnerable was a 42.5-hour handshake between 2 people. That was the previous world record holders held that for that. So turns out I applied on Guinness.com, GuinnessWorldRecords.com, and turns out it takes 10 weeks to hear back from them on the details of if you're approved to try to break it. And so, you know, that includes everyone's first question. I know they're thinking it, so I'm just going to tell it to them. Tell it to you guys is, how did you go to the bathroom, Matt? And we'll get there in a second.
Buckets.
No, not buckets. God, no, we're not that savage. So, yeah, this was January 2 years ago, and it had to be in a public place. We had to video record the entire thing. The timer stopped.
You had to? That was part of the requirements of it?
Yep, they required the video files.
Did they come down and people come and record it for you?
Nope, because that costs $8,000.
Yeah.
And it also
they would have
takes,
charged you to do that.
Yeah, it also takes 2 years or so for them to review your application. Unless you pay them, then they can put it in priority and review it within like 8 weeks or something. So Guinness is ridiculous to work with. They're such a great example of what a powerful brand can do. Because you know the way I see it, like you know, right now I'm here on your show. I'm providing some content for it. That's valuable to you. You know, having another third party, you know, point to me is valuable to me. With Guinness, though, they have it figured out. Because if you were Guinness, I would have paid you to come into this room, and then I would have paid you to produce it within 2 years. And I would just pay you everything. Like, just because they're you know, the world standard for world records. But there's also WorldRecords.com, a ton of others. We were featured in 10 different news sources that same week. So we really got all the value of breaking the world record.
And who was we? Who?
Great question.
Who's the dream team behind this world record breaking feat?
Yes, so that's me, Matt Handshake Holmes, and my friend who I met through the startup scene, Juan Diaz de Leon. And he was working.
Still here?
Yeah, he's still here in Colorado. He was working on a startup at the time. I think we met through my startup Denver meetup group. And I put out.
You still have that meetup group going?
I do.
Okay, let's talk about that later. But go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So he agreed to do it, and we cranked it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, we started Friday morning at 11 a.m. We wanted to start at 9, but, wow, a lot of setup. And, you know, a lot of volunteer coordination. You have to have other people there 24/7. Otherwise, who knows if you're doing it, even though you're recording it. You know, they want that proof. It has to be
Can
certain.
you just do a continuous video loop without you?
right. You always got to wonder. No, I think we had to have a clock in the background or something. Like you could probably outsmart it, but why not just do it? Because you have to get press. If we would not have gotten press, we would not have been a candidate to submit the application saying we did break it indeed to Guinness.
Right.
And stewardess statements, witness statements. It has to be in a public place. You have to have other news sources in addition to the press. Like so much stuff. People have to give statements. It's a lot. You have to have 2 video recording files. In case one goes bad, you have the others too. So we're switching out GoPros just 24/7, and one was on an iMac, filmed the entire thing.
Yeah.
Just an iMac, just filmed straight for 46 hours. That's how long. So the timer stopped at 46 hours.
How did you convince this other counterpart to do this? And so he's technically also in the world record book too, as well.
Well, no, because the world record book, I think there's like 800,000 Guinness World Records that have been broken, and the book only publishes about 10,000.
Ah, okay.
So, even more disappointment, more money that you have to pay to Guinness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. So, I don't really market Guinness World Record holder because of that. And it takes up too much space in the title. Just world record holder is good enough. But, because it's not official with Guinness yet. Hopefully we'll hear back this January because that'll be 2 years.
We were talking about that.
So,
so they'll contact you and say, you're in, or you're
no,
denied.
they'll probably want more information. We'll wait another 2 years.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
man,
we
that's
lost your
outrageous.
information because you sent it 2 years ago.
God,
Yeah, we did. It was a lot of information to send you guys.
It's crazy. So first off, how did you get so much publicity on this scenario?
Yeah, so we did it as a dedication to Colorado startups.
Uh-huh.
We broke that world record as an appreciation to, my inspiration for it was to thank the mentors, support the other startups. Colorado's a newer tech startup scene compared to a lot of other places.
Yeah, I was very excited about that when I started seeing that.
Yeah, Denver's on the radar, and Denver's offered me a lot, so I want to promote, all the other startups here in Colorado. I think a rising tide lifts all ships. So that was why we did it, and that took to the public well. They came by, people showed up, we had a beer sponsor, and they kind of partied both nights while we were there shaking hands without sleep on the second night.
How was that on the second night without sleep?
Oh, it was getting very brutal. I mean, you're
his hands turning into a snake and like all this crazy.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
shit,
it's gripped. I mean,
you're sweating on.
Talk
each
about
other.
wet palms. It's disgusting.
Oh,
but there's worse. There's way worse records.
But you had to part hands to go to the bathroom.
That's right. So part of Guinness's guidelines is you get 5 minutes. An optional 5-minute break for every hour, and that's when you can go to the bathroom if you choose. Or
you just ate,
we shook hands while we ate.
Yeah,
but you could also build up the break. So if you shake for 3 hours straight, you get a 15-minute break.
Ah.
So this world record in particular is more about how long the people can stay awake. The actual task isn't that hard. It's just some serious dedication and commitment and awful. I don't recommend it for anyone except if you do want to break it. I encourage you, please. It'll just get more links pointing back to my website, which means more web traffic, which means more sales.
There you go.
Break my record, I dare you. You won't. Some people ask, well, do you have to move your hand? And the answer is yes. The longest hand-holding record is 93 days.
Oh, my God.
So if we would have stopped the movement of the shaking of the hands, I guess we'd be on that track. But not really, because you need to apply and wait 10 weeks, right? Guinness.
So where else are you published as far as this record goes?
I think there is 10 links, and then there's still sometimes some random articles I'll run into and be like, oh my gosh, they wrote about us too. But 9 News was the biggest. They came with a camera about the size of a small child, and then like Galvanize wrote about us. Wands Fraternity wrote about us, and then School wrote about us as well. A couple different blogs, some local places. Yeah, I have the list if you wanted it, but about a dozen, almost a dozen news sources wrote about us.
That's crazy.
That was cool.
That is pretty cool, man. That's awesome. How did this affect your business? Like, how does this relay into your company?
Yeah, so I'd say now...
This was after you started the company, and it was called Handshaken at that time?
It was called the Handshaken Video Series.
Yeah.
And now we kind of call it handshaken.com.
And it evolved into a company.
That's right. Yeah. So I interviewed all these, big key players, and what I realized was... Well, I cold emailed one of the entrepreneurs behind Priceline.com, a billionaire entrepreneur, Jeff Hoffman. Just add him on LinkedIn, messaged him cold. Didn't get an introduction. He emailed me back right away saying, yeah, Matt, would love to sit down with you and meet with you. And I realized I was getting these meetings that other entrepreneurs who have done way more successful things than I have couldn't get, and didn't know how to get. So that was kind of my inspiration. That's when it clicked for me. I said, "Oh, Matt, quit blowing up your own personal brand and go help some other people who don't know how to push content or a good strategy or like or how to reach out. You know, even just email templates have a lot of value to some people who are new at this networking on steroids thing. You know, or being a podcast host. You know, almost the same thing. But it's really the ultimate idea behind it is, you know, asking to interview someone and truly trying to learn and help your space, your industry with their success and their expertise is valuable to everyone, and also happens to open doors for you. You know, you can open doors for clients, you can open doors for yourself. You can use the mentorship with you know, a really specific problem that you're having in your business, or just for inspiration from what they've done. There's a lot of really powerful things behind it that in some ways are hard to measure. You know, networking isn't something you can say, if I do it 10 hours this week, I'm going to, you know, increase sales by 23%. Right. Yeah, so it's kind of, you have to buy into the long-term strategy. But I don't know, once you attach it, like now this new client I'm working with, you know, they hired me to open doors. So the first thing I'm doing is interviewing people on my personal blog until we get their website up to speed. And then we're going to, I think one of our first interviews with doing is Kevin Harrington from We're going to be asking him how data and analytics, they're a data analytics consultancy, this new client, Mashie.com, and we'll be asking Kevin Harrington, you know, the founder of the infomercial, how has data and analytics changed that? Because, you know, the infomercials on a TV, you have less data there. Now you have more. So how has that changed your business? How have you been able to use that to the success of your clients?
When are you going to do that interview?
In the meantime, with some other big names, billionaire John Paul DeJoria just fell in my lap. Someone called me up to interview him, which is awesome. The founder of Patron Tequila and Paul Mitchell Hair Products.
He's here in Colorado?
No, he had a friend and he was in town. But he's based in L.A.
Okay.
So, yeah, that, and then Kimball Musk.
You guys met in person, didn't you?
Yeah. And definitely, like, you know, the blog's very valuable from, like, more of a marketing standpoint. And you can still use the blog to get your foot in the door for a future in-person meeting. But in person, by far, you know, we all get so many notifications now. It's in person where people really buy into a relationship with someone else. You know, I know you're a real person. I know how you dress, how you behave. You know, we've met in person now, so I know what type of guy you are a little better than just seeing photos of you on the internet. But when you look at that the other way, everyone's looking at their phones. So if there's, no matter who it is that you want to get in contact with, billionaire, member of Congress, entrepreneur, your next employer, everyone's looking at their phones. And if it is someone who's, you know, has LinkedIn or Twitter, or, you know, if you get your name and your profile picture popping up on their phone as much, that'll warm them up for an in-person meeting. So you got to hit them from multiple directions, and, you know, there's a strategy behind it. Email, cold emails, try to get their phone number.
So personal branding.
And what makes it a lot easier for someone to remember you is when you associate yourself with big names in their industry. So, I don't know. I could talk about this stuff all day, but I'll let you continue taking this wherever you want to.
No, I'm interested to hear the story behind building the actual business and the company and how that plays a role. But also, like, personal branding is really big, and I think that it's where a lot of business is going in the future. You know, you're already ahead of the curve. We've had this discussion before. Like, I understand where business is going. It's going to a one-to-one model, but with scalability to it, right? And so how does that play a role in your business? How did you identify that stuff? How did you intuitively know also, like, to be building your own personal brand?
So a couple questions
like 5
in there.
questions all in one.
So the first question, you mentioned one-on-one and personal brand. Well, let me resume with the business. So after I broke the world record, after I met with Jeff, I started offering services to try to help other entrepreneurs with their personal brand. And that came to light with either, you know, just some LinkedIn marketing, reselling some cool tools that I found, selling tools in a package and managing them for a client, all the way to building personal websites and getting those to rank locally for keywords. So kind of building other people as the expert in these keywords locally, and then later go nationally. But once you're going nationally, you know, that's closer to a client doing a little closer to 10 million in sales in a pre-revenue startup. And that was kind of the range that we worked in.
So it's all personal brand driven marketing, personal brand marketing. So you take the founder of X tech company, and maybe they're like, is it typically a one-man company that you're doing this for?
Sometimes we've had lots of solo entrepreneur clients, but we've also had lots of, well, not as many clients who are much bigger. So, not Not any clients over 10 million. That was our biggest client. And probably all the other clients were 2 million and under.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, got into that and really liked the idea. I mean, it kind of turned more into an agency, right? Because I'm doing online marketing work for clients, right? That's an agency model. And what I realized is, you know, at some point, whether it's 6 months or 6 years, the clients leave with their web assets.
Right.
And now the real estate entrepreneur in me is coming out a little bit more because I said, wait, I helped you remodel this house and then you just locked me outside.
Right.
You know? And so what we started doing was building our own websites and getting them to rank locally for keywords.
Uh-huh.
One of the first ones we did was FOCOconcrete.com.
Huh.
Fort Collins Concrete Contractors. We made a complete online business out of it. It gets 50 to 60 phone calls a month. And there's no client. We didn't have a client. But I built the house, remodeled it, got it to rank. It's in a valuable location, and now it gets phone calls. So I call up some concrete contractors and say, hey, I'm going to send you some free leads during your trust and respect. Talk to you in a week.
Yeah.
They say, okay. I talk to them in a week. I say, did you like that? Because now here's the cost to keep it going.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to renting out essentially online real estate.
Interesting.
So that's kind of how my business has changed recently. You know, we started doing personal branding. We still absolutely do that. Love working with the founders.
So now you look at what's coming in the future, what's a hot topic, or where's a domain space there's a missing gap there, and then you go fill the pipeline with it, and then go bring it to these companies that are already existing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, as an entrepreneur, I'm asking a lot of questions that I know other entrepreneurs are asking. You know, where am I making my money? What's the easiest money? What's sustainable? What's going to keep coming in?
Right.
What's a one-time thing? What do I own? What am I working on that other people own?
Right.
And you know, for me, it's online recurring passive income.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that. Now, I absolutely like working with founders of tech companies the best and entrepreneurs in general, especially once they have some sales and they can actually have some movement. You know, I used to work with a lot of pre-revenue or early stage, but now we're getting with bigger and bigger clients. And
Interesting.
But, you know, I'm still looking at where am I making my money and what money is easy and what money is hard. And I believe this small website like Fort Collins, we have 40 of them live right now.
Oh, okay.
And that was just the first one that I described. I really believe in this strategy because it's online recurring passive revenue and the hot water heater doesn't go out.
Right.
Like real estate's kind of already passive, but the damn hot water heaters keep going out. So, you know, in my opinion, it's easier than real estate. You know, with real estate, I'd have to invest $250,000, and I'd get 4 rooms for rent, and each room would rent for $800 a month.
Right.
Now with these websites, and the cost to hold that real estate is going to be more than 50%.
Right.
Where with these websites, once you build them up front, I've got a team of full-time to help with it. And once you build them and get them launched, you have to wait about 6 months, and then they're going to be ranking. 8 out of 10 of our websites win. 2 will pull the plug on.
Yeah. How do you know how to identify what the domain?
Yeah.
Is it all in the domain name, or it's more the keywords in the website?
Those are great questions. So yeah, the domain name matters. We used to hand register or pick a not previously owned domain. Now most of the domains we purchase for these websites have been previously owned by a company very similar to the one we're going to build out.
Gotcha.
So you know, I mean, if I can, like, we have uscarpetcleaningtx.com. That's an annoying domain name. I don't really like it, but it was used by a carpet cleaning company before us in the city in Texas that we wanted to target. So, of course, we picked that domain up. It probably already has some backlinks and some action going on online.
Right.
We're going to build a beautiful website, do all the on-page SEO, register on all the directories, get its own phone number, track how many calls it's getting, track web traffic, create content for it each month, and then rent it out. And then the cost to rent that is $50 a month.
Yeah.
Or so.
That's not bad.
So you know, and I can probably rent that out for $800 a month, like the rooms in the real estate. So now I need $200 a month to rent out for assets.
Do you sell the leads, or do you do some sort of revenue share model with most of these companies?
Yeah, so we don't share the leads individually. We shoot for 50 phone calls.
Yeah.
If we get less than 30, we're going to give you a refund or roll your credit into the next month.
Yeah.
And if we pass 60, we're probably going to raise the price on you. Is kind of how it works. But 50 phone calls is really a sweet spot. You know, we've messed around in some cities who are too small. And then there's not enough people that need concrete driveways and foundation repairs. Right. And there's not enough contractors to rent it to anyway.
Yeah.
And then we've gone in cities that are pretty big. We have DenverConcreteStain.com. And that one worked out because instead of just doing concrete, everything we focus on staining, decorative concrete. And so now we need a special type of concrete contractor to rent that website too. But it's been a good lesson, It's easy to put a lot of content out there and try to help everyone, and this has really been a valuable lesson because I'm building assets that are valuable to maybe 20, 25 people.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
Oftentimes less. And I'm taking a gamble that one of them is going to bite. And if they don't, we'll pull the plug.
As an entrepreneur, what are some habits that you have? Like, what are your daily routines every day?
Daily routines, it varies, sometimes I feel like I'm pretty structured and on point.
Yeah.
My team's in the Philippines, so the later I work, the better.
Yeah.
So it's challenging, and now I have this new client that's 30 hours a week, so I would say right now I'm not very structured. I also have this house, everyone listening to this is probably so confused. They're like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Like, he has real estate going on, these small websites, but I thought that was personal branding.
Multiple flows of income going in. That's
right, yeah, because
being an entrepreneur.
There's who you want to help and provide value to, and then there's where you make money.
Right, exactly.
And I'm trying to make easy, passive, recurring money.
Yeah.
And then also help people that may not be able to afford my services.
Right.
So that needs to be more aligned for my company to really grow to where I want it to. I'm sure any vetted entrepreneur would agree with that. So guilty. I need to focus better, but it's good. At the end of the day, sales coming up in January 2018 should be past double what they were at the beginning of this year.
Great.
So struggling, unfocused or not, we're growing. Yeah. We're doubling in 1 year. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So again, what habits have gotten you there? What are some things you consistently
that's right.
take action on that really accomplish what you do?
Sticking with a good schedule, managing my team. When you hire someone, you're not just paying someone to take over the task for you. You're bringing someone into your life to be a friend and a peer and someone you're going to take care of.
Right.
And
these are guys in the Philippines.
Yep.
That work. That are all your employees and stuff.
That's right.
Cool.
4 full-timers.
Wow.
And one of them's the caller, so he takes care of calling the contractors once the websites get to rank and get the phone calls. Another one's a graphic designer and SEO expert. So he's helping me do some of the keyword research. Another one, I guess I'll get back to your question. One of them is an account manager, too, for our handshaking clients. When the assets we're helping someone else build. Right. Which we'd love to, love that. But, really caring for them and helping them with their structure is good. And that's really when I can pull the most from my business. I feel like we're on track for goals. Because you have goals each month, right? But it really takes a lot of hand-holding and attention and management to stay on track and hit your goals. Yeah. It's hard. Oftentimes we don't hit our goals and we need to adjust them.
Right.
So
how do you set your goals? How do you yourself set your goals?
Well, you have to zoom out and say, why did I even launch this business?
Right.
Right? And for me, Handshaking, it's not this big company I want to sell and have a big cash out. I want to build, my goal was to hit $1 million in sales by the time I was 30, which is a few months away. And that had been my goal for a while. We're not on track to that. We're on track for about 25% of that right now. We needed to be doing $83,000 a month. Right. I'm at about 25% of that. Right. So definitely not there.
Residuals and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem, right? I could definitely make more money this month, but I don't care about just 1 month. I care about something long-term sustainable. Right. I want to grow my business to be a business where I make money online. And, some real estate assets are okay, but I want the majority to be from online because that's what requires the least maintenance, has the lowest cost, the highest margin. And when you take a business online, you can outsource your team and you can hire people all over the world at different wages. And, some wages will have incredible value to someone across the world that someone in the U.S. would scoff about. Right. And, I'm sick of hiring contractors, U.S. contractors that work – don't do great work, don't do a quality job, don't care about their product. And I love, and I can afford it. I'm a solo, bootstrapped entrepreneur for the most part. Yeah. So I can't afford to, I've tried it. I've had 2 U.S. employees at the same time before. And seeing that paycheck go out of my account each month is scary. Yeah, and guess what? You don't have to do it. It's okay. There's someone else who will appreciate your money a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, handshaking.com/resources. There's a company called Online Jobs. That's where I found my team in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Cool. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big model. I know a lot of entrepreneurs here that outsource to the Philippines. Key account manager positions in their company. It's really interesting.
Yeah, they're great.
How global we are. Do you meet with them a lot, like over face
Yeah.
to face and Zoom and stuff like that?
Yeah, we usually just use Google Hangouts. I
Mhm.
think we're going to move to Slack pretty soon because we're just
Yeah.
on GChat. Now there's 4.
Slack's great. I've been using Slack for a while.
What is
Yeah,
it?
Slack.
Slack.
Slack's
Oh, yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Slack is
Yeah, and
great.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom's really great. If you haven't messed around with that yet.
Yeah, Zoom's good.
Yeah. What's your advice to other entrepreneurs or personal brands or people that are just interested in creating success in their life, but they know you need a mentor, you need to be connected up with the right people in order to do that? What's your advice to get connected up with those people?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the interview, you got to get on their radar, and sometimes that's challenging. The higher caliber mentor, the harder it is to get on their
Yeah.
radar and build a relationship where you can text them for happy hour.
Right.
Those are 2 different points in a relationship, and it's hard to start the relationship, and then it's also hard to take it
Yeah.
all the way to just like a friend.
Yeah.
Like you text a friend. And I definitely think it starts with identifying what you're passionate about, identifying what your goals are by networking with them,
Yeah.
and what your business goals are, whether it's your own business or you're working for a new business, or if you're working for the man, even you got to ask yourself what are your goals and how does networking play into that. But I really believe in the personal website. It costs $8 a month to host it on Weebly. You can build it yourself. You have to buy your domain for like $10 once, maybe $1 with a promo code. So money is definitely not the issue. Take the time, buy your domain name if you haven't, and start getting the website up. And that's the minimum asset.
Remember the whole ConnorDoobie.com? Trying to look that up. Have you seen the Squarespace commercial with what's
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
Uh-uh.
Oh, I have to show you that afterwards. But actually, it'd be a super funny promo in your scenario with what you do. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean that's good. Yes,
Yeah.
And Squarespace is good too. If you
Yeah.
don't use Weebly, and it's important. If you get your personal website up, you have to ask yourself what photo am I going to use. Also, get
But
to know
just building the
yourself.
website alone isn't going to be the thing that'll get the attention of those mentors.
That's right. You have to do that manually, and the
Right.
website's just a tool. If
Right.
you don't have a website, you can use a LinkedIn profile. You can
Yeah.
use your Instagram profile, but the website shows you a little bit more serious. I think there's a stat I read in Forbes that let's see, there's like 7% of job seekers have personal websites, but hiring managers think that's 56% of hiring managers thinks that's the most impressive personal branding thing you can do.
Interesting.
And that's from a few years ago, so I'm sure that margin's getting smaller, which means you have to hurry up and build your personal website because
Yeah.
everyone else is.
So you're saying like not only people who are trying to promote their business, but for even job purposes, personal branding comes in and plays a role with that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with startups and with job seekers, right? Usually if you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, you're going to have a bigger budget for online marketing than a job seeker. But if you're a job seeker, you can totally afford it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to take the time, though.
And getting in contact with those people, like you just cold call them, email them. That's how you're getting hooked up and everything.
I mean, I could tell you an email template, but at the end of the day, it's going to take persistency.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to email them 7, 13 times. When they say no thank you, you can stop emailing them at that point. In the meantime, it's just a convenient reminder for them that it's important to you and for them to get on your show.
Yeah.
Or just to email you some blog, just let you email them some blog questions or sit down with you in person on video. Sometimes just emailing some blog questions is a great way to start if your personal website's brand new. And that kind of adds some credibility to the site. It's easier for Kimball Musk to jump on the Handshaking video series after he sees John Paul DeJoria has been on the video series too.
Yeah.
So
That's very true.
Yeah, just get some content out there and start moving.
Keep rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. What other advice, and I think we got to wrap up here shortly, but entrepreneurs, what are some 2 or 3 key things that you would, say they need to implement into their lives to get where you are right now, and other billionaires and successful people you talk to? Kind of fumbled through that question a little bit.
No, that's fine. Well, if it's networking, just start with someone slow. If it's building a business, get started now. Your early 20s is a great time to start a business. I started right out of grad school. I had one sales job for 6 months before. That might be too early. I think I'm ADHD. I make decisions quickly and rashly, and sometimes without considering all the consequences. And oftentimes it plays in my favor. Sometimes it's a weakness. But at the end of the day, the sooner you get started, the better, because it's not going to get easier. Now coming up on 30, I can't just be flipping cars on the side. I can't just be, acquiring one real estate asset every 2 years. I need to build some, high revenue assets that produce every single month and put a team into place. Like, you need time for other things the older you get than work. And if you don't make that jump, because it's a very uncomfortable jump, like we talked about earlier, I paid myself $300 a month for almost 12 months when I started the real estate company. But I got that out of the way. We're good now.
Right.
I can pay myself a wage.
Right.
So, if I pick up another property or, hire a new team member, I might forego it, but it's good. You got to get started early. So take whatever it is, whatever first step it is for you and your business. Maybe it's just buying your domain name. Maybe it's moving $5,000 from your personal account to a newly opened business account. Whatever that next step is for you, you got to take that and just do that. Just do it real fast after you listen to this interview. Just freaking do it. Just do it.
Matt, that was incredible. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to give us a follow. Instagram, SoundCloud, Spreaker. Share this. Please give us your feedback. We really appreciate it. Talk with you next time.
Good.
Nice, dude. Good stuff.
Yeah, that was
Good
awesome,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.